Week 11 of the NFL season is here, and it's time for another edition of the Mojobreak Blitz. It's Cody, it's Doug, it's Dan, talking more NFL, and we're going to be talking about the premier position of the NFL, the quarterback, today, specifically focusing on a guy who has been really one of the stars of the hobby over the last couple of years since he got drafted, one Kyler Murray. Plus, we're going to check in with the rest of the QB class, and of course, make our picks here for Week 11. But last week, guys, Week 10 was an exciting week in the NFL. I know Kyler played last night against the Seahawks. A surprisingly stout Seahawks defense at times last night, by the way. It's something I don't think I would have predicted in a million years against the explosive Arizona Cardinals offense. But before we get into that, really maybe the game of the season last week with the Bills and the Cardinals. It looked great on paper. Josh Allen with that incredible, him to Stephon Diggs at the end of the game with about 30 seconds left. You thought that's the game. And then what's now being dubbed the Hail Murray, that Hail Mary pass, Kyler to DeAndre Hopkins, Murray's real first signature moment in the NFL. Guys, let's just kind of talk about that game and where after that game, and even a little bit last night, maybe it doesn't affect him as much, that Seahawks loss, but after that performance, where does Kyler stand in the hierarchy of QBs in the NFL and among hobbyists? Where does he stand?
Well, I'm gonna, that upper echelon category right now for the hobby is Patrick Mahomes. So, I mean, he is the epitome of what we are trying to collect with everybody underneath him, anybody that's came drafted after him. And if you're looking at that, then Kyler Murray is a strong buy. I mean, they're now 6-4, I believe. I mean, unless a catastrophe happens, they're going to make the playoffs. I don't know if there's any expectations that they go to the Super Bowl at this point, but it's a good stepping stone. So I think if I'm looking at it from a progress standpoint and a guy that I want to invest in, I think all signs point to he's going to take that first big step in his second full year. I mean, last year, rookie years are a little weird. I don't usually kind of put a lot of thought into that, but the next full year, you got a playbook. You've been working with the coach for now 2 years, and the way he's playing, just seeing how accurate his arm is, his ability to run, really there is no other. You can compare the legs to Vic, but Vic was not as accurate as Kyler. This guy's special, and I know, the big knock on him is at the size, but he really uses his size to an advantage. And I'm looking at some of the Prism prices. Regular Prism base are selling PSA Gem 10 for $585 currently, around there, give or take. And I think that's actually a pretty decent buy, because if you look over to basketball and you see what those prices are going for rookies, I like the buy on Kyler. I'm still buying. Just bought a cracked ice Kyler, and I have high hopes for this guy.
Look who's money bags over here. just
I didn't tell you what cracked ice I bought.
Oh, everybody knows what cracked ice. I mean,
it was
I like how you slid it in there. You're like, yeah, I just picked it up. Had some loose change floating around in my car.
I count some pennies.
So no, I think he's on the way. I don't think he's gonna overtake Mahomes anytime soon, but right now in the hobby, I look at Patrick Mahomes, and then don't forget Tom Brady. Anything Tom Brady is still selling for a lot. I know he's not a young buck, but I think it goes Mahomes, Brady, and then in the third position, everybody's kind of lumped in there. At one point, it was Lamar Jackson. I think Kyler Murray has taken over the Lamar Jackson. And again, this is all based on the hobby value of each player. As far as like top tier in the NFL, taken out of the hobby aspect, I think he's there. I think he's a top 5. I think he actually is taken over Lamar Jackson's spot. I think Lamar Jackson was hovering around there as well. Kyler's a real deal. I think they make the playoffs. I think they get knocked out of the playoffs. I think it'll be a good time to learn and get that young team's feet wet with the playoff game.
Mm-hmm.
And I could see in the next 3 years of him getting a Super Bowl. And an MVP.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and Arizona will become an attractive place to play for some free agents. It's funny as a Niner fan, I can never root for the Rams. I can never root for the Seahawks. But for whatever reason, I have no problem rooting for the Cardinals. I really, yesterday, it's almost as an interdivision game you want to tie. But I was full on, minus wearing a Cardinal hat or a jersey. I was hanging on every play for the Cardinals.
Because you got that cracked ice.
And they obviously fell a little bit short, but they already. If you're going to tell me that you're going to go in and you're going to split the series with the Seahawks as the Cardinals, I think that is a great success. You won at home, they beat you at their home. Hopefully, maybe you can wind up with a better record. So if you meet in the playoffs, maybe it's at your home. I know home field advantage doesn't matter as much in the COVID era, but there's a lot, and he's still going to be developing. He's still going to learn. I think that last play of the game, he didn't feel that tackle right away. And he didn't step up into the pocket, which I think comes with a little bit more experience playing the NFL game. And you just see every week it seems like he progresses more and more and more. And his ability to make plays on his feet, no pun intended, and use his head above the shoulders type of guy to pick the right play, I think speaks a lot to Kyler.
All right, Sean McVay.
Oh, don't call me that. That's an
above
insult.
The shoulders, huh?
That's an
above
insult.
the shoulders. Wow. So last night's game, you could not put on Kyler. There was 2 plays that were really tough that were not his fault. There was a screen pass that, what's his name? Dan Arnold didn't run the right route.
Yeah.
They ended up calling an intentional grounding, pushed them back, and then the next play they had a holding
in the
end zone for a safety, which really changed the aspect of that game.
Yeah.
They went from being down 1 score, 3 points, to being down a touchdown, trying to play catch up, trying to get the ball back. And the last play, I mean, I don't know. He definitely needs to mature a little bit better when he's scrambling around, because you do see that once in a while with Kyler. He gets out of the pocket, he starts running around, and he kind of runs into a defender.
Yeah.
I thought he was going to try to at least chuck the ball when he was going down, but he just held on to it, went down, took it like a man, I guess.
Yeah, and I think Kingsbury was trying his best to just give away timeouts at the end of that game. I mean, he was literally just burning them. I mean, there's that Carlos Hyde non-fumble. I don't know why you throw the challenge flag on
that challenge flag was tough.
It wound up not hurting him, but it was like, oh man, you're going to really screw this up.
There was probably, I mean, you look at the replay on that, and there was 0 chance of that being overturned.
Yeah, I had no idea.
Yeah, weird. But you see those every once in a while.
And he called that timeout when Kyler snapped the ball, and you could see Kyler's frustration there. I mean, why you called the timeout.
Yeah, I mean,
those are 2 timeouts that you didn't even need to use.
2 big timeouts, but it didn't really matter. Kyler got them down
With
to
plenty of time,
within striking distance and just could not get it done late in the game. And that's one of those things that, he is young. Let's not forget he's young. And he seemed like he might have been a little banged up. They were like...
Yeah, he seemed to be... The shoulder looked a little tender at one point, which that's a little concerning. But, yeah, let's hope for the best.
Mostly concerning because he's a quarterback and he has to throw the ball.
Yeah.
Exactly. A little bit, yeah.
And one thing to point out made me sad, and I'm sure teams that don't have great defenses sad, is that the guy that had the career day, Carlos Dunlop, was basically available for anybody to pick up. So just sitting out there waiting for a team to sign him, and Seahawks sign him, and makes 2 or 3 really big plays, including that end of the game sack on Kyler.
The defense for the Seahawks did look a lot better, but it still is pretty bad.
Yeah.
When Kyler did have time, or he, made time with his feet and got out of the pocket, they could have thrown a 10-yard out pass to D-Hop every single time. That play was open every single play.
Yeah.
They kind of went away from that. And plus, I mean, if you look, Christian Kirk had a pretty good game.
Fitzgerald had 8 receptions.
Fitzgerald had a pretty good game. D-Hop had a pretty good game. He spread the ball around a lot. They were one-dimensional for sure. They could not run the ball whatsoever.
Yeah.
I think Kenyon Drake had less than 20 yards rushing. He did have a touchdown, but he had less than 20 yards rushing. So,
yeah, I think taking away last night's game, last night notwithstanding, the thing I've taken away from Kyler's success and, frankly, his opponent last week, Josh Allen. Give a talented young quarterback a top receiver and look at what they can do.
Yeah.
You give Kyler Murray DeAndre Hopkins, and you saw him after the game. He said, I just threw it up there and hope for the best because it's D-Hop. Like, he can do that. Josh Allen with Stephon Diggs. Stephon Diggs, it looks like the guy from, a couple of years ago where he was arguably the best receiver in the NFL, one of the best receivers. You give these guys the weapons, and I feel like I'm using the 49ers as reference because that's, the team I follow the most, but there was always arguments of like, well, maybe you don't need to get a number one receiver. They need to get this. They need to get that. But just look what you can do when you've got a quarterback who's pretty good or very good, has the potential to be great, and you just give them the right target and things just take off.
Well, the Niners have a top wide receiver. His name's George Kittle.
Yes, you're absolutely right. But also look at the difference with that team when they picked up Emmanuel Sanders last year.
Yeah.
And Emmanuel Sanders isn't even at the level of a DeAndre Hopkins and a Stephon Diggs when they're firing all cylinders, and you see what the difference did for that offense.
I think you're right. I think the key is having that number one receiver. But that also makes your number 2 and number 3 receivers that much better.
Sure.
Because they're not going against number one defensive back on the other team. So.
I'm sure it's like a blanket. It's a trust. Like, if nobody's open, I just try to hit this guy.
Exactly.
And, see what he can do.
And look what happened. I mean, is that going to happen every time? Absolutely not. There's 99 out of 100 times that doesn't work, and we just happen to have the one time it worked, and it makes for an incredible moment. But
you look at that play though, and I look at it and go, it was more of a play by DeAndre Hopkins than it was a throw by Kyler Murray.
I look at it the opposite way.
I don't know. He threw it up for grabs. D-Hop just basically timed it and got higher than everybody else.
Yeah, but if you would have thrown it any lower, it would have got deflected. If you would have threw it any higher, it would have gone over his head.
All he did.
You act like he could have just.
All he did.
It was like 3 flies up, but he just had to throw it right up.
He threw a rainbow.
No, he threw it where it was at the peak of D-Hop's jump, who's also taller than all 3 of the.
So you're
the
telling
defenders.
me if D-Hop, if it's not D-Hop and it's Darren Sproles, he gets that?
No, he doesn't, because it's. But you're telling me that if Kyler throws it into the ground, he's going to get it over those guys?
Why would he throw it into the ground?
Because he's not accurate.
50 yards.
Because he could not be accurate.
There's only one way he could throw the ball, and it had to be far.
Exactly, which means the degree of difficulty is a lot harder to. That's like throwing it 50 yards and putting it in a perfect spot.
I love Kyler, but that was a play made by DeAndre Hopkins.
I think if I had to, if I'm gonna be the tie-breaking vote here, I will say Kyler escaping pressure, getting that throw off in the first place was impressive. But yeah, I think I'll lean with Dan here. I think that is more of a Hopkins play than it is maybe the throw by Kyler, because again, that is kind of just.
So you both would go out there and just be able to just make that play because of the
Well, I mean,
absolutely not. DeAndre Hopkins is one of the best receivers, if not the best receiver in the
My
NFL.
shoulder's kind of messed up. I mean, back in the day, I might
the
be able.
theory you guys are saying is like he just throw it anywhere and he'll just jump out of the building and catch it.
It wasn't.
You have.
I was saying it's not every receiver in the league is going to be able to jump up and make that catch. Where I'm pretty sure there's a lot of other quarterbacks in the league that can throw the ball 50 yards.
But it has to. That's not where you're understanding. You have to throw it 50 yards, and it has to be within a 2-foot window that it's hitting in that part of the end zone where he is.
Those quarterbacks in the league have pretty good accuracy.
We see them at the Premier. They're not hitting the tires every time. That's like hitting a tire from 50 yards away every single time. You have to be that good. Because you can't throw it lower because it's going to get deflected, and you can't throw it higher.
Throw it lower. You had to throw it 50 yards.
No, I'm saying
you act like he's going to throw a spiral line drive.
No, I'm
50
saying
yards.
if it's chest level on D-Hop, he does not make the play.
How would he throw it chest level if he needed to rainbow at 50 yards? D-Hop. The only way that he was going to be able to get it is D-Hop had to jump up and get it.
It was still. It wasn't like coming down. It was going. It was a line drive.
That damn at gravity.
Why don't you guys decide?
It actually was just going up still.
It was because that's how good he is. You guys make the decision in the chat or in the comments.
Okay.
Comments below. Comments below.
This is going to be an hour podcast now.
Let's go to the tape. No, Anyway, both guys are talented. The match, the chemistry is there. I think that we can at least agree on that.
Poor Cody,
they
man.
Something out here.
Poor Cody just has to sit here and like listen to this. Table's about ready to flip over.
Well, let's try to have cooler heads prevail here, and let's debate more QBs. We've talked a lot about Kyler, but QB, obviously in the hobby, that is the premier position we want to collect. So we're just a little over halfway through the season. The MVP discussion is ever changing. It felt like that first half of the year we were all talking Russell Wilson. What an incredible start to the season. And, of course, right at the halfway point of the season, the last few weeks, he has looked, I would say, everywhere between average to just pretty good. And like last night, he was very accurate, but there wasn't like the explosiveness that we saw early in the season. Obviously, Lamar Jackson has gone through some growing pains recently. Patrick Mahomes has the Chiefs at 8-1. Everything seems to be working just fine there. So I just want to hear from you guys, and Doug, I'll start with you. Do you have anybody right now as we're entering week 11, anybody who's being severely undervalued, severely overvalued, or heck, just throw it at me. If either of you have got a super hot take about any of the QBs right now in the league or in the hobby, throw it at me.
My super hot take is that Lamar Jackson will not be the quarterback of the Ravens in 3 years.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I think that the teams have figured him out. You can kind of see it in the stats that you take away his running lanes, you don't have a Mark Ingram on the field. Who's back now? Mark Ingram's back now.
Yeah,
but you take away any kind of premier running back from him, and you force him to make plays with his arm, he can't get the job done. So, you look at guys over the years like a Michael Vick, you look at guys like a Kaepernick. A lot of times once they were figured out, they did not overcome that. I think at the end of the day, yes, legs and mobility is important, but if you're not accurate and you don't have, the ability to hit your receivers on 3rd and 10, 3rd and 11, those kind of drives are going to win the game, then they're going to figure you out. So that's my take. I think that John Harbaugh, one of the greatest of all time, got that Super Bowl with Joe Flacco. We don't talk, as you can see, we don't talk about Joe Flacco anymore. No. He's on the Jets now, and we barely talk about him.
Flacco was always a game manager.
Well, yeah, but he got a $30 million contract for winning a Super Bowl when the credit goes to John Harbaugh, I think. And I like Lamar Jackson. I love the way his presence is on the field. I love that he's a student of the game. I love how he's humble. I love everything about him, but I just don't think he's going to get there with his arm. That's my take. I think, like I said, 3 years, 3 to 4 years, I think there's going to be another franchise quarterback in Baltimore.
Well, I think he would probably be a free agent before then.
Right. So I think they don't sign him.
So they won't pay him.
So you think they don't? So he wins an MVP last year.
Yep.
And when his rookie contract is up, they're just going to be like, see you later. Whew. I don't know if the Baltimore fans are going to like that very much.
For a hot take.
I get what you're saying.
You look at his.
Let's give it.
Last week against New England wasn't bad, but he did throw a pick. The week before that, only 170 yards, no touchdowns against the Colts. The week before that, 2 interceptions and 65 yards against Pittsburgh.
Every team needs a balanced attack, though. You need to have that running game, even if it's not working. You still need to have the threat of running the ball to make it so your team's not going to be one-dimensional. I don't think Lamar. I think Lamar Jackson with Mark Ingram they're going to be fine. They're going to be okay.
Where I don't agree with you here is if you
didn't even say anything.
You look at the greats over the years. Has Aaron Rodgers had a number 1 running back every year? Has he had a number 1 receiver every year? He still gets the job done every year. Year in and year out, Aaron Rodgers is in the conversation.
Yeah, but they've always had a balanced attack. They've always had, Eddie Lacy.
Fat Eddie, huh? That's the guy you go with, Fat Eddie.
Dude.
Hey, he had a couple of years.
He had a couple of years, though. You got Aaron Jones.
Randall Cobb.
Randall Cobb was kind of. They had
some years.
They've had guys running the ball. They had Dorsey Levens.
Amon Green. Far view.
No, we're really going back. Yeah, how far back are we going to go here?
Yeah, you look at Tom Brady. Tom Brady's probably had 15 running backs and 30 receivers in his career that have all recycled, and he's still winning Super Bowls.
Yeah, I didn't say that Lamar Jackson was going to be Tom Brady. I think you
well, and I think that's where the expectations is for the NFL, because you could draft a guy on a cheap deal and have him for 4 years and see if he works out.
How about this? How about you're a Niner fan? if you had a chance to basically trade Jimmy Garoppolo for Lamar Jackson right now, would you take that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So
absolutely.
So
Where
but
did I
only
sign?
for 3 years until they figure him out and you guys can get rid of him.
I would take the chance on Lamar. Well, you got to understand Kyle Shanahan's offense is a little bit different than the Ravens' offense. But
Just said that John Harbaugh, Jimmy John
I'm
Harbaugh.
hungry. Jimmy John's. No, I mean, yeah. Garoppolo is used to the best of his abilities. Do I think he's going to be one of the greatest of all time? No. Do I think Lamar Jackson's going to be one of the greatest of all time? No.
But better than Garoppolo.
Younger. I'd like to take the chance.
Okay. All right. Well, I mean, fair enough.
Yeah.
I think we've spent a lot of time on this. Okay. What do we got?
Your hot take.
My hot take. Why are we not talking about Aaron Rodgers?
Yeah. He's still an MVP. I mean,
What? I got another one. Another one. Taysom Hill.
Oh boy.
Is he's gonna get his shot. We're gonna see what Taysom Hill is all about.
He's going to run the ball 50
he's
times.
gonna get his shot. That's
gonna-
about all I could say.
He's gonna get his shot.
Jameis Winston must be really bad.
Is this the changing of the guard for the Saints?
No.
Sean Payton loves Taysom Hill. He's been like, he has a calendar. He like counts down the days to where Taysom Hill is going to be the starter.
You know
and
what's
franchise
incredible about
quarterback for that
Jameis?
time.
He had the LASIK surgery, and they picked a running back to be a quarterback instead of him.
He's eligible as tight end.
He's a
I believe,
tight
in
end,
some
too.
fantasy
Yeah,
leagues.
well, but he's a running back. I've watched them play the Niners, and maybe they only do it against the Niners. And I don't watch every single Saints game unless they're in the red zone. I watch the red zone, but I would say 99% of the time that Taysom Hill takes a hike, he is running the ball.
Well, that is not going to happen this week.
I don't know about that.
I'm pretty sure. And we're going to see. We're going to see what it's going to be about. I mean, like you're saying, and I love Jameis Winston. He must be bad. He actually must be pretty bad.
I don't know. There's part of me. I'm getting in full on conspiracy theory with the Sean Payton Taysom Hill thing. Like, is somebody like I don't know? Is there like a mob connection where they're telling him like you better start Taysom Hill or else? Like I don't know what's going on.
Well, yeah, because
here.
if you started Jameis, you could still bring in Taysom for
Sure.
those.
If it doesn't work,
Swiss Army plays.
I don't know. You're going against the Falcons. It's not like you're going. This isn't like a premier matchup. I know the Falcons are probably better than the record suggests, but this isn't like a Super Bowl level matchup here. Like, try Jameis first, who I think, frankly, is a better QB, and he actually had some decent numbers last week when he came in for Drew Brees. It's just weird. It's just a head scratcher. I don't know. Maybe Sean Payton knows something we don't know, or like I said, there's put on your tinfoil hat and start the conspiracy.
The relationship is very similar to how I used to think of and this is baseball, the Hunter Strickland Bruce Bochy relationship.
Yeah.
It was like, no matter how many home runs you give up, I am going to bring you in all the time. You're my go-to guy in the clutch. And I'm like, this dude sucks. But it's kind of like that with Taysom Hill. Like, Peyton always makes sure that he
I would
gets-
say Taysom Hill sucks.
No, well, we don't know.
We don't know.
We don't know.
We
That's
don't
why
really
I'm
know.
saying that was my hot take, is that we're going to see how Taysom Hill handles being a
Are
conventional
you going to go buy a
quarterback.
Contenders auto of Taysom Hill, the rookie one?
No. I'm
Which is on a Green Bay card, by the way. 2017 Contenders Taysom Hill.
But I'm saying, like, this is going to be the week where we're going to see what it looks like when he has to be a conventional quarterback.
Yeah.
He is not going to be able to hike the ball and like do the fake run option to the running back and then run it up for like 5 yards. He's not going to be able to do it.
Here's a hot card take. What is Taysom Hill's? I don't think he had a Prism card his rookie year. I could be wrong. But maybe the second year technically on the Saints.
I don't think he has a second year card.
He has to have, his very first Prism card. Probably cheap on CLMC.
When was Taysom Hill a rookie?
17.
17?
Yeah.
And he
As
was
a
on
Packer.
he was on the practice squad for the Packers, right?
Yes.
Then he was signed to the Saints, and the rest is history. He's never left Sean Payton's side.
You know, there's also the part of me that thinks, is this like a decoy right here where they're saying again, to go back to baseball as a reference, like they're saying, oh yeah, so-and-so's the starter, but really they're the opener. Like they get like 2 or 3 innings. So like maybe you see a couple, like a play or two on the first drive is Taysom Hill doing his Taysom Hill thing. And then Jameis just comes in and is the quarterback. Like, I don't know. Maybe this is a decoy where Sean Payton is thinking about 5 steps ahead of everybody else. Or maybe he's really going to give him a chance. I don't know. It's kind of mind-boggling.
From what I'm seeing.
I'm excited. I want to see what it's going to be.
Me too.
I want to see how he's going to perform. That team, we saw it last year with Teddy Bridgewater. He performed that same offense. I don't know if the quarterback is a vital part to that offense is as much as like other teams in the league. Sean Payton could kind of like, I want to say Belichick, but we've seen with Cam Newton that's not necessarily the case.
Yeah.
But, Peyton just has his system, and he knows who is going to perform better in his system. And maybe he looks at Taysom Hill, and he's like, he's been here longer. I want to see what he has.
And to note, he actually has not had a Prism card.
I didn't think so.
He had a Mosaic this year. This is his first Saints shiny card. I don't know. He might have been in Donruss in 18 or whatever. I'm just going off of Prism, but interesting.
Go and buy your contenders Taysom
Get your
Hills.
Taysoms now while they're still.
I think the auto
still
Taysom is expensive, like a couple $100. I mean, yeah.
Yeah,
Well, because he does everything.
Exactly. The Swiss Army knife. It should be interesting. Very quickly, I don't even think this is a hot take anymore, but seeing Tom Brady last week after, just a few weeks ago, just looked absolutely terrible. I'm at the point now where I'm like, this guy is going to play. Did he say? How long did he say he wants to play till? Like till
50,
he's like
maybe.
till he's 50. At this point, I'm not going to bet. I'm not going to bet against him. I bet you he plays until he's 48. At this point, I now truly believe that. I don't know, something about that TB12 diet. I don't know what he's doing. But I'm at the point now
I
where
might need to do it.
He's not going to have a good week this week, so.
that may be. But against the Rams, of course. So that's going to be a good matchup.
All you gotta do is just watch that Niner tape. We'll stop AD.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, I mean, maybe.
Why don't we make some picks while we're talking about it? Obviously, a big matchup with the Broncos and the Rams this week. Dan, you are our new leader in the clubhouse here after going 2-0 last week.
And I should have done the same thing this week. Just go on my phone and just pick a couple teams and just let it go. Don't
Just
even
pick
think,
them out of a
Don't
hat.
even think about it. Like last week, no thought process. I didn't even know who I picked walking in here for the podcast. I was like, how did I do? Did I win?
Lucky you. Yeah,
Did I
you went
break
2-0.
it?
Yeah.
So I picked
Rabbit's foot.
last week. I picked the Lions,
Yeah, Lions and the
Doesn't even
Browns.
know who he picked.
and I picked the Browns.
Yeah, Lions and the Browns.
And those were stone cold locks. Easy. This week I'm gonna go Pittsburgh over Jacksonville, and that's probably a trap game.
That's a gimme.
might be.
It's probably a trap. Jacksonville's not that bad.
Jacksonville nearly
They
won
almost
last
beat
week.
they almost beat Green Bay.
Yeah.
Is Luton behind center still?
I think it's Luton, but no, it's Luton. And then I'm gonna go Minnesota over Dallas.
Doug, who you got?
Sorry,
that's it.
C-Rad. I don't think the Chiefs get beaten twice by the Raiders this year, so I'm going Chiefs away in Vegas, winning that game.
You called my pick easy?
And dude, the Raiders are 5-4.
6-3.
They're 6-3. Yeah,
Dude, it's the Chiefs.
yeah, but they
beat-
lost
they
to
beat
them
the
already.
Chiefs at Arrowhead
like
this
you
year.
said, that they're not gonna.
And I'm going with the battle of the number 1 and number 2 overall pick. I'm going with Joey B to defeat the Washington football team.
Yeah.
So I'm going with 2 away teams this week. So Chiefs and Bengals. Oh, actually, is that 2 AFC teams?
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't.
At this point, you picked the matchup with an NFC team.
There you go,
I guess
there you
that's
go.
You know,
fine.
the only
Good
thing
enough.
that you got to do is just make sure they're 2 NFL teams at this point.
All right, mark it down. Week 11 is where we abandoned the
Saskatchewan
system.
Rough Riders.
I am going to go with the New England Patriots. I think they're going to beat the Texans. That kind of sounds like a gimme, but
Super Bowl pick, dude.
yeah, I know. I'm sorry, but it's another knock against the Super Bowl team.
It's
The chances of winning
it's
Billy.
never good when it seems like every week somebody is picking a team that's going against the team you picked to go to the Super Bowl.
Yeah. That gets the Patriots back to 500, by the way. So I think Patriots may end up just sneaking into the playoffs after everything that's been going on. They're probably going to sneak into like 9-7.
Right.
They'll be fine. And then this is why I was happy you mentioned Taysom Hill, Dan. I'm picking the Falcons over the Saints. I think the Taysom Hill experiment ain't gonna work. I think it's gonna fall flat on its face. And the Falcons, again, they've been in every game this year. They've been playing a little better lately. I think Matty Ice comes in, takes care of business against Taysom and the Saints.
I like that, but
I was staying away for that game for that reason.
Yeah.
do you think? Do you think Taysom is the quarterback that whole game?
My gut says no.
Or do you think that Jameis does come in at some point?
I think that my feeling is this is a total decoy move, that they're saying Taysom's the starter, which he technically will be, and probably, I don't know, first play or two. And then they immediately take him out, and maybe they do a mix and match of Jameis and Taysom. That's probably what they're gonna do.
So they announce it so that the DBs are like, cool.
Yeah,
we're gonna be focusing on the run because they know that
Exactly.
Jameis Winston is good for 2 interceptions.
Yeah.
So if he decoys it with Taysom Hill, then the DBs are like, well, we're gonna try to make sure we run in.
The thing is about if they announce early that Taysom Hill is going to be the starter, like they did, then the preparation going into that is have a spy on the quarterback, make sure he doesn't run, make sure he doesn't get out of the pocket, and then you bring in Jameis, who is the polar opposite type of quarterback.
Yeah.
He's more of a
Stone feet. Yeah.
stone. He's not stone cleats, but he isn't a guy who's going to scramble around a lot.
No,
Yeah.
no.
He's about as mobile as Jared Goff.
Yeah. Well, it's just stone feet, number 2.
Now, the thing is, if we're saying this here, you know the Falcons are probably already thinking the same thing, right? I mean,
No,
I don't know.
they-
But then
didn't
again, they're the Falcons. So who knows?
Didn't they fire their coach?
Yeah, so it's. I'm not going to put anything against. I'm not going to give them the benefit of the doubt here. Maybe, I don't know. It should be interesting. It should be a very weird, wild matchup that we have not seen the likes of.
Might be a good over pick. I don't know what the over is on that, but that
might be.
That might be a good over.
That might be. I'm still sticking with the Falcons. I think that even that strategy might be the Saints getting a little too cute. Maybe that's where I'm going with. I'm sticking to it.
Sounds good.
Yeah, that's going to do it for this week of the Mojobreak Blitz. Of course, make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Mojobreak Media, and our main channel, Mojobreak, for all of your live breaks, group breaks, personal boxes, and more. And, of course, go over to mojobreak.com to get in on any of those breaks. For Doug and Dan, I'm Cody. We'll talk to you next time on the Mojobreak Blitz.
Niners will not lose this week.